What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Halo Reach playthrough done by a game designer series. This is episode 6. We're going to be doing the Halo Reach mission Exodus. If you haven't already, please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll hop right into this. If you remember where we were last time, George just sacrificed himself to kill a Covenant superclass carrier. And we open on this scene of Noble 6 with the supercarrier on fire in the background, presumably from the recording video of the orbital drop unit that he used to get away from the supercarrier before George blew it up. He comes back and picks up his gun. This is actually the only level on Reach where you start with not full health. But you can clearly see that he's injured, presumably from the re-entry. Watch him check his navigational unit there. That's subtle but interesting. The narrative design here is that he's injured and he's navigating his way back to society. And this is a fairly common trope where you look up, you pan a video up over a hill for a big reveal, and we see that big reveal is that New Alexandria, which is the capital of Reach, is in bad shape. A nice little moment remembering George there. And again, a nice little load scene here. So, we're still in the cutscene, But when we go over this ledge here, you'll see that they unload the cutscene, and load in the actual level. So this is one of the multiplayer levels. It's a little bit modified, obviously, but one of the multiplayer levels.
Tower pad is green. Let's move these civilians before it changes.
Here we can see the multiplayers, and if you actually look closely there, you can see that there are footsteps from brutes, bloody footsteps from brutes. So it's just another little small detail that ties. See on the ground here, you can see the bloody footsteps. It just ties the atrocities to the Covenant. And we have many options, but ultimately there is one path. This is a pretty common trait of narrative design stories where you are going through a mission.
Be advised, we have reports of Covenant suicide squads.
So, audio cue of how gameplay is going to be. Warning the player of suicide squads.
Kilo 2-6, Kilo 40, Covenant Corvettes raining hell on us. Final protective fire 1. Danger close, my command, over.
Copy, Kilo 40. Firing FPF 1 at your command.
Fire FPF 1, over.
Firing FPF 1. Shot.
Hold on to your helmets.
Kilo 40, request FPF sitrep.
Negative 2-6. Corvette's still coming.
Copy 40, firing FPF 2. Shot. Copy Kilo 40, firing FPF 1.
So this audio back and forth over the radio serves two purposes. First thing that it does is that it provides backstory of like the fighting going on in New Alexandria. Secondly, it also provides an interesting challenge for the player in that anytime the shots hit, it vibrates your camera and changes your shooting angle. So it's just an extra little challenge that the player hasn't really had to deal with before.
Firing FPF 2. Shot.
Damn, how do you stop that thing?
Notice the audio sounds here, the creaking of the walls, the high-pitched echoey sounds. These are all things that are tied into like a nighttime level, things of that nature. Thought I had sprint. I don't. So here we come with our first contact with live
Come on, let's go.
citizens.
Brutes, move to cover. Picked up a friendly.
Spartan? Where the hell did he come from?
Who cares? Spartan, assist. Evac Team 7 to Kilo 26. We have eyes on Traxxas Tower.
Copy Evac 7. Move to
So
assist the
the
evac.
choice of letting Marines into the squad lets them provide story context for the rest of the level.
How do we get to the tower? Elevator in the atrium goes down to the cargo port. Cargo port goes to the tower.
So the audio cues give the player information on where they should be going.
Contact from the west.
Notice that they timed it between firefights. Oof, poor guy jumping up. They timed the audio cues between fights. So after you kill the first wave, they send another audio cue telling us what to do. And notice up here, this is a really cool interaction. This explosion on the other side of the level, this is actually part of the playable level. If I go in here, you see that it shoots off to the right. But if I come back out, this is part of the playable level, and they're using that to their advantage when they create city destruction for the player to witness and feel. Rip. Didn't even see that plasma grenade. See if there's ammo up here. Doesn't look like it. So, oh, here's the ammo. So all of the bodies lying around are really expensive. Don't let that ever take away from what you see in a game. So anytime you have civilian bodies or essentially prop bodies laying on a level, it's really expensive for the GPU to render. There's a ton of polygons and character models. That's why typically in a narrative game you only have like 1 to 4. So anytime you see them lying around, they're put very specifically for a specific reason, and that's to invoke some type of emotional response from you, because they're expensive to maintain on the screen from a polygon standpoint. So just appreciate when you come across them how many there are and what the point of them being there is. Ooh. That was close. So this is one of the only known bugs that I know of in Halo Reach. I'm sure there are other ones, but on the end of this level, civilians don't actually get in the elevator with you. I'm not sure why, but every time I've done the campaign, civilians never get in the elevator. But we have like a defend the area, defend position type mission here.
I see them.
Boy, I wish I could aim. I could be a pro gamer if I could aim. Just kidding. There's no chance of that. Dude's rampaging his way through the civilians. Maybe we won't get to see them not get on the elevator.
Damn, Lieutenant. Glad you're on our side. Let's hop that elevator. Get to the tower.
So here's the audio cue for us to get into the elevator, and if we run around and look, we can see that, well, there's a lot of dead civilians right now. I think there's at least one still alive. We'll look around. Maybe not. That brute was running through. Oh yeah, see, there's a civilian over there in the corner. She's still not getting on. I think she might be the only one, but she never gets on the elevator. Yeah, she's definitely the only one. She never gets on the elevator, and you kind of just leave without the civilians, which is the whole point of the level. But as far as I know, that's the only bug I'm aware of. I'm sure there are others, but it is just kind of like an interesting bug since it is built into the narrative design.
We could use the executive landing pad, except there's no easy way to get there. A group of ODST specialists are working a plan. They might appreciate some backup.
So we hear about the bullfrogs, the ODST specialists.
We need you in this fight! Huh?
Hey, there he
That's the one they're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
We got an extra jetpack.
In my jump pack suits.
Go ahead, try it on, Spartan. Welcome to the Bullfrogs. Other side, on my mark. 3,
Yep.
2,
I'm totally
1,
waiting.
Jump. We're gonna capture the landing pad on the executive wing so the evac birds can land. Try and keep up, Spartan.
Try and keep up, Spartan, he says.
We're clear. I'm clear.
Get a height advantage here. Look at all these guys. And that's up. You can give me your DMR. Thank you, sir. Boom, wasted it. Shot it at a corpse. Make games for a living, by the way. Guess that's better than playing games for a living when you can't aim. So notice the level design here. It's very vertical. There's lots of containers for you to jump on. There's lots of interference in the air. So like if you were to start jumping in the air, there's archways you can run into while you're up in the air like this. So that does create a little bit of an interesting dynamic where you have to be very measured in your jetpack control. This whole level is designed for jetpacks, or at least this section of the level is designed for jetpacks, given the vertical nature of it and how it goes up and down. It's just an interesting design choice, and I think one that's really well made, because they typically support extra levels. So on top of those archways are places where you can land and things like that. Want that weapon. I'll kill this guy first. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Yeah. So again, it's still a straight narrative level, but it's got all sorts of different levels on it. So they've given you, no matter what level you're on here, they've given you an open window to see the objective. They really want you to know that that's the objective. And they've closed off all the doors, so if I go all the way up to the top, this door is closed off. If I look back and I'm looking around, I can't really see it. This will be a good indication of one of their assist systems. If you wait around too much, they will provide a little notification for you. So if you're like running around lost, I don't know what I'm doing, where am I going, do I go on the 3rd floor, do I go on the 4th floor, and then boom, there's like a little notification thing for you. Say, hey, go on all the way up there, that's where you're going, let's use this navigation beacon. Again, great level for jetpack design. No DMR? That day. Oh, just kidding. Yes, DMR.
Tighten it up.
From a design perspective, notice the abundance of needlers that they give to you. The brutes have no shield for the most part. Or most brutes don't have a shield. So the needlers are an especially effective weapon. So they give a lot of the grunts a needler to really emphasize to you that you should be using like a DMR or a needler against the brutes, because they punch through the health pool especially well. There are 3 sniper rifles on this level. I don't think I'm going to use any of them. Oh boy. That dude scared me.
Watch your angle.
Watch my angle. Oh, I do not want to go off the edge here. Yeah. Notice how in the war, like as a whole, we're constantly going uphill when we come down to the, like when push comes to shove in the fight in New Alexandria. We're almost always going uphill on levels. And if you've listened to the other episodes, I've talked at nauseum about like altitude and levels, what that says about what you're doing, what you're learning, mechanics, new mechanics, old mechanics. These are all mechanics that we're familiar with, except for maybe the jump. And notice when they introduced the jump was done on a level playing field. Like it's just a flat, like you're hopping across little things, and then they introduce you to the vertical aspect of the jump. So almost the entire level of you being in New Alexandria here in Exodus is going uphill. We can see all the way down there, and we come all the way up here. Like it's almost all uphill, and that's because we're really getting into the meat of the war.
Clear that pad, Spartan.
Oh, I wanted to assassinate. I'm in a bad spot here. Please. Smart.
That is your face, right?
Oh, got him, Marine. Sick burn. It would be much worse if I didn't have a DMR.
Yankee Niner to Echo Dispatch. Landing pad is clear. Send in the evac birds.
Copy, Yankee Niner. Birds away.
Where does this look? Like the side of the... I guess all the way up there. It's just a little tiny detail, like... Where's that observation post looking? We get to use machine guns.
We'll hold this location. You get on that Falcon. Make sure those transports make it out in one piece.
What oh, this one.
This is your ride, Spartan.
Notice the audio cues when I was not getting on the Falcon fast enough.
Siege for the last 5 days.
One of the things they'll use pretty extensively as we get to the end of this level is they'll use pace of messages and tone of message to really urge the player to push through the level quickly. Especially when they're talking about civilian transports, they'll put a lot of urgency in the message so the player tends to push through the level faster.
Down airspace is way too hot. Gonna take an alternate route.
Delta 1-5 to dispatch. Banshee squadron on my tail. Taking fire. Copy, Delta 1-5. Can you... Mayday, port engine's hit. We're going in. I'm gonna try to set them down.
And this is more of not so much a shooting level, because you really can't die here. That what they're doing is they're loading and unloading scenes. This is more of essentially a movie here. There's a few Banshees you need to kill, but like they're just showing the Covenant sort of like coming through and mowing down citizens.
Fox Actual to UNSC frigate Stalwart Dawn. Request immediate airstrike on Covenant Corvette.
Again, emphasizing
Copy, Fox Actual. Long swords unavailable.
the struggle of the fight. So these are some of the Banshees that you actually have to get rid of. They unloaded everything here. Now they're loading stuff again.
wait any longer. Negative, Echo 2. I can't cover you. Do not take off.
You see the sense of urgency in the transmissions? Some dude's gonna make a really dumb decision here. There he is, taking off. And yikes.
Oh my god.
Mayday! Mayday! 6 Echo 2. Can you maintain altitude? Negative. We're going down.
Son of a bitch. I can't watch this.
Fox Actual, should we send search and rescue birds?
Nope.
Negative, dispatch. No port.
I always die on this part of the mission.
Spartan, Sergeant Major Duvall. Awful day so far. Let's keep it from getting any worse, huh? Cubby's all over my missile batteries, and I got 5,000 civilians across the bay waiting for passage out. I need you to arm those batteries, then fire those missiles from the central terminal. Understood? Corvette's been a pain in my ass for too damn long. Give it hell, Spartan.
Two birds. We need to push them back off our beach.
So they unloaded all the previous parts of the level. Now it's all just a billboard, meaning that it's a 2D image that you're seeing on the edge of the scene.
Let's roll.
Putting a lot of faith in this driver. Let's see how he does. Going back and forth at the start. Bold strategy.
Civilian transport 7 Echo 3 to Fox Actual. My engines are hot, waiting for your go.
Copy that, 7 Echo 3. Working on it.
Oh boy. Thank God for me not actually playing on a harder difficulty, otherwise we would have just been broadsided by a Wraith.
Moving.
Oops. Sorry, Marine. One of the first times I ever did this level on Legendary, I kept on dying to those wraiths over and over, and I couldn't do anything until I got a grenade from one of the grunts to hop in the side and plant it. I die a lot on this part of the level. Alright, I'm just gonna go up here and do this thing. Jetpack's still useful, but not very. Let's see if I can.
First
Oh
missile
yeah,
battery,
they're
Lieutenant.
over there.
Get it armed. First battery is online. Other ones to your north. Sergeant Major. Covenant are banging on my
Shield
door. I
and
got families and
decoy.
wounded on board.
Ugh.
I gotta get airborne. Easy 7 Echo 3.
Craft shield's just
Spartan's
not
gonna clear
that
the
good.
skies.
That's the bridge that I was up on, for whatever it's worth. So notice the urgency of the messages here. They'll start saying like, I really gotta go.
That's it. Battery's prime.
Get over to the East Complex.
And fire those missiles. Sergeant Major, the Cubbies are almost
Yeah.
through my door. Steady, Echo 3. That Corvette is still up there.
I mean, the same thing happens no matter how long or slow you, like how fast or slow you go through the level. Even if you die like 30 times, the same thing happens in the story. But the way that they use the audio cues to push you through the level is pretty ingenious. It's a psychological trick that they use. Pro tip to people that can't aim, use your grenades. Oh, drop shield and not armor lock. I started to activate it.
That's it. Battery's prime. Now get over to the east complex and fire those missiles. Sergeant Major, the Cubbies are almost through my door.
So there's our audio cue.
Echo 3. That Corvette is still up there.
We really need help. Please don't run me over. Was that a Spartan laser? Home Slice has a Spartan laser. Drop shield's so useless. Maybe it's useless when you're as slow as I am. Oh please God, not like this. Oh, I don't know what you did there, but thank you.
That's it. They've reached the landing bay. Copy that. Now or never, Spartan.
Where did you go? I don't know where he went.
Missile defense online. All evac transports, you are cleared for takeoff. Repeat, you are cleared for takeoff. Go now.
So cutscene to unload the level because they switched to a new mission up here, so that level load is much more intense. So a longer cutscene almost always follows a Halo mission.
Noble 2, Noble 6, Noble 5.
Notice
Do
the
you copy?
transport one away.
Go
The
ahead, Noble
Star
2.
Wars reference.
We picked up your transponder about an hour ago, but could not risk open
Here's
Covenant have been
6
pretty
revealing that
tight.
George died to the
We're
team.
getting nothing from George.
He didn't make it.
Understood. What's the situation at Starport exit?
The last transport is away.
All right. We're bringing you to us.
This is going to be the end of the Exodus level, where the people are exiting New Alexandria. I'd like to call a little bit of attention to the, I guess, name of this type of level. It's a reference to the Book of Exodus, in which Moses leads the Israelites out of Egypt. Religious or not, that's just a reference that the level makes, and notice that the city's name is New Alexandria. It's just an interesting little narrative, little nod to if you pick up on those things or not. I think that's the end of this level. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know down below. Join our Discord, let us know what you think, and thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. It really does help us out, and we'll see you next week.